All right, go for it.
Good morning, everyone. It's the notorious, glorious V, the Guerrilla Economist, coming to you live with my main man, El Cuco, the master of the flux capacitor. And we'll be giving you the news, the views, and all the information important to you. Check us out, roguemoney.net. Follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money and Facebook, DTube, Steemit, every single podcasting app, No Time Handy, Apple News, and iTunes as well. Yeah, went through that word real quick. Check out our sponsors, folks. Check out our sponsors. RemainCalm.net. RemainCalm.net. If you need asset protection, you're being sued. You got collectors knocking on your door and threatening your life. Then you need RemainCalm.net. Don't freak out. Remain calm. And also check out the cryptoschool.io. There's no woo-woo there. There's no psychics or used car salesmen. There's just guys who win every single day in a blood market with his technical analysis and fundamental analysis and just damn raw intelligence. These guys are my two quants from California, Z and Cowboy. They absolutely crush it. So check them out over at the Crypto School. Maybe you don't want to trade. You just want to learn about cryptos, how it works, and how it can benefit you. Well, they can do that too. Check them out over at thecryptoschool.io. We have the video education series as well as the trade room. In fact, we have a video that just went up on Rogue Money. It's about learning to trade in 15 minutes or less. That was put out by my main man, Frank. And, I think Frank and Cowboy. So check it out. Learn to trade in 15 minutes a day. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, it's all about empowering you folks. Check it out. Thecryptoschool.io, and we will be soon be able to take crypto payments. So we're excited about that. We found a payment processor that will handle us without all the 1,000,001 questions. Are you drug smugglers? No. Are you into human trafficking? No. Are you adult entertainers? No. I mean, see, these are the questions that are, I mean, you know how it is, man. You're trying to set up CBD. It's the same thing.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it is ridiculous. I can't wait till this old, crepid system just goes away.
Absolutely, man. Well, once our platform is up, Siege, you can just switch over to all cryptos.
Yeah, just
dude, switch it up to all cryptos, and once our platform is up, which everything works out, it'll be launched tomorrow. We're going to announce it, especially in the trade room, and make some announcements on the air. You'll be able to take payments in cryptos, and we can clear it in fiat. It's going to be sick.
Yeah, I mean it's just ridiculous. You're absolutely right. It's only the top 1%, the criminals that get away with being able to launder money through their bank accounts that are set up, and as long as the banks get their cut, they're okay. But like when we try to establish something legitimate, we get scolded and scrutinized.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on 1 second, man. I've got a
message. No, you're fine.
I'm messaging Hong Kong as we speak. This is sweet. Yeah. Be running late. 10:30 p.m. Good for you. Cool. All right. So, anyway, dude, lots of things to get into. Actually, not too many things. I mean, the world is crazy. It's a crazy place.
You know what I'm excited about? I mean, I am not going to leave my television today. I am going to sit there because I am just so excited for this royal wedding. Prince Harry and Meghan. I am just going to spend the entire day just fixated on. I want to know the guests.
I want to know what Meghan Markle's
I want to know the color of her dress. Oh my God, yes. I just
and Prince. So what's his name? Prince Harry.
Prince Harry. Yeah, Prince Harry. Prince Harry.
That beady-eyed Prince Harry. Oh God! You ever notice his eyes are just a little too close to his head? I'm not sad, but his eyes are way too close together. They're like very close to his nose.
I think the family forced him into marriage, because he was kind of like the rebel of the family, always partying in Vegas and running around naked and everything like that. They're like, dude, you need to get married. We're going to slow you down. So we're going to make you impregnate this girl and you're going to get married. But
Meghan Markle's not a bad choice, bro.
But here's the crazy thing, I'm looking at
she's a flaming SJW libtard, but it's not a bad looking girl.
Yeah, I Googled. Yeah, no, she is a good looking girl. So I'm happy for him. Don't get me wrong, people. I don't want to like, oh, but here's my thing that I always find is that it's amazing. Like the social media, the news outlets, the MSM, they are the very first to point out any type of unjust to racial divide in America, you know, the white, black thing, whatever. And they always do that, including Hollywood and everything. But however, when it comes to the royal family, they do not get criticized or scrutinized at all because they have no white privilege because they're royals. They deserve that attention, V.
Yeah, man. You know the funny.
I just lost your audio, Bo. Or that's my hangout? Maybe that's my hangout. I'll be right back in. No, I'm still in the hangout.
Family. Okay. Are we off air?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. You cut out for a minute. I don't know if it was you or me, but you're back now.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's very weird. Interesting. Yeah, what I was saying is that nobody covers you know, who these people are. The goats. You know, they're a Germanic family. Nobody talks about their links with Hitler, with Nazism. That's all glossed over because everybody's into this. Because everybody's in this stupor of princesses and castles and, you know, and royalty. This fairy tale fantasy, and you know, and the whole entire thing is, you know, the fairy tale fantasy, and you have these people who are absolutely in a stupor when it comes to this, and it's so childish, man. And I love when people tell me, oh, the royal family, they're just royalty in name only. They have no real power. Right. And that just shows you the level of ignorance. The Queen could suspend Parliament in all the Commonwealth countries, which is, you know, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, right? She could suspend Parliament if she wants. Most of the property in England is owned by the Queen. All the property rights belong to the Queen. The Queen has ridiculous amounts of wealth and power. That is something they don't talk about, because then all of a sudden the charade of this fancy schmancy royal tradition is just English tradition. That falls apart real quick. Like, people say, oh, look, they just, you know, Prince Harry, Gary, Larry, whatever his name is, just married a commoner. Oh my God. But, you know, you go back into Meghan Markle's history. She has some royal blood in her on her father's side. There's some connection there to some English or Scottish lord that she's connected with, and that's not. Don't you think for one second that this is some happenstance love marriage type thing? Don't you think for one second these are all selected breeding pairs? These people are obsessed with eugenics. These people are obsessed with genetic breeding. And that's why I brought up the point. And I said that, you know, as a mocking way, that Prince Larry, Gary, Harry, his eyes are really close to his nose bridge. It's kind of weird, right? Could be the sign of inbreeding. Could be anything. I mean, who knows? Okay.
Do you think he's reptilian? Do you think he's reptilian? I think he's reptilian.
Yeah, he's reptilian. I saw his eyes shift color, man. He had slits in his eyes when I saw him on a YouTube show. How do you explain that, V? The digital cameras are picking up all these the symbols. The eyes keep churning, me. Folks, if you study videographic technology, when we went from analog to digital, that's called artifacting. It happens all the time. Okay, I think. Look, I don't believe in reptiles and reptilians. What I do believe is there is definitely a dimension that we don't see. I mean, look at our existence. Our existence is within two given parameters of light. That is what we call the world we exist in. It is in two frequencies. It's in a frequency that is basically a sliver of light that we and our entire world exists in. Number one. Number two, what is matter? What is it? What the hell is matter? Matter is anything that's basically just energy slowed down that we could interpret it with our five senses. Okay, so beyond our dimension, there are things that are popping in and out of our dimension that we cannot simply see because it's not within the given frequency of light. That being said, I believe in demonic entities. These are nefarious, malicious entities that can and do come in and out of our realities. How do I know this? Well, the freaking elites believe in them. They worship them. They call them for help, for service, for whatever. Okay, these sickos are into that kind of crap. So there's something to it. There's something to it. Okay, you can't say, oh, this is the physical world, that's all there exists, and you're a moron. You don't quite know how physics work. That's a whole other story, Siege. Whole other story.
Yeah, but you imagine what this would be like, though. Like, let's say, for example, Trump, or let's say Mike Pence had a son or daughter that's getting married, could you imagine the hell that would be raised if they were to involve the military or shut down parts of the government, to celebrate that type of Could you imagine the backlash? Could you imagine what CNN, MSNBC, all those agencies would be reporting? I mean, why do they worship this people? If that was happening here to any type of conservative, they'd be saying they don't pay enough in taxes, that it's white privilege. But yet these people just completely get the get out of jail free card. Ridiculous. Yeah. Crazy.
Most people like being ruled. That's just the bottom line. Unfortunately, CJ, see, humanity is the toughest sons of bitches in the entire universe. I don't think there's anybody out there that could F with us. Dude, there's a reason why we've been warring for forever. Okay. We are a tough species. We grew up out of turmoil. We face some of the biggest challenges in our civilization's history. And I'm not talking about the sanitized version of our history. I'm talking about the real history, man, where, back in the days, we fought creatures. We fought creatures. We fought, things that would be from fairy tales. I believe that wholeheartedly. I think there's a lot of archaeological evidence to support these things that, giants, Nephilim, things of that sort. I wholeheartedly believe it. I believe in that ancient archaeology. I think, personally believe there were at least 4 civilizations on this planet before we showed up. Okay, they all got wiped out. You look at our solar system. Our solar system is all evidence of war. Everything from Mars to the moon to Phoebus, the moon that existed for more. I mean, all these things are evidence of some sort of a galactic war. And there's a lot of things to it, man. I personally, I believe the moon is completely artificial. It's an artificial orbit. It doesn't rotate. It's like it's been placed there. The damn thing's made out of metal. It's hollow. It rings. It's so many things in this galaxy. So the question becomes, who the hell are we? Who are we? Okay. And I think there's a lot in ancient scriptures that kind of paint a portrait of who we are. And I'm sure there's also been a lot of things with ancient scriptures that have been locked away and hidden. So we don't really fully find out who the heck we really are. But that's a whole other story. But what I'm trying to say is this, man. We went through so much as a species, and we started to overcome when we became smarter and more cunning and more savage, that we were able to overthrow the usurpers. But there is something about it, and it happens in every cycle, when the struggle stops, when there's no more wars to fight. It seems like the alpha males, we kind of slink back, we kind of shrink back into the shadows, so to speak. This is the way, it's just the way God intends. It's the way that, it just seems it works, that we just kind of shrink back, and all of a sudden the betas proliferate. The beta males and the beta females, they all proliferate. And what we see today is this insane celebrity worship, the fawning over the royals, the godlike perspectives that we give to, let's say, like politicians. All these things are things that betas do. There's no alpha. An alpha, you cannot control an alpha. An alpha does not want to be controlled. An alpha wants to be left alone. An alpha wants to live free and roam the woods, kind of deal. And we don't have that anymore, man. We are in a very, very precarious situation within society. And what we have here is too many betas, man. That's what we have. We have celebrity worship. We have all these other things, man. It's crazy. And this is what it is. People like to be led. People like to be lied to, and people like to fawn over things. They think there's some some savior from mankind is going to come and save them, and it's just never works out like that. People don't realize nobody's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. You have to do it yourself. It's what God says in the book of Proverbs. My people die for what? Lack of what? Knowledge, right? My people die for lack of knowledge. And I think that's the biggest thing. Folks, you can't check your brain at the door when it comes to the game of life. This is a ferocious, ferocious, ferocious game. takes no prisoners. Some of you that are listening to this are in your 20s, and I'm telling you right now, live savagely, live viciously, live violently. And I'm talking about attacking your goals, attacking your dreams, attacking what you want out of life. Okay, tackle those things. Those are some of you are in your 30s and 40s. Hit it hard. Hit it hard. Some of you in your 50s, you might feel a little trapped. What do? It's never too late to reinvent yourself. It's never too late. You are living in an age of information. You're living in an age of solutions. What you need to do is find those who give you the solution. Educate yourself on the solutions. Educate yourself on what's going to work, and then have the wherewithal to turn your life around. That's the most beautiful part about the world we live in. It's never too late to change. Do you realize if this was like 100 years ago, you wanted to go reinvent your life, you just couldn't. You just couldn't. You are stuck doing. If you're a blacksmith, well, buddy, you're a blacksmith. That's it. You know?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I mean, today you can go from being a blacksmith to a multi-billionaire if you wanted to. If you wanted to. It's about networking. That means learning new things. That means getting out of your comfort nest. That means learning how to talk to people. That means learning how to communicate better. That means developing the most powerful trait in human development. What is that? Charisma. Charisma. Your ability to be charismatic, your ability to connect with people is the most valuable, precious tool you can develop. It has paid dividends for yours truly. If I wasn't charismatic, if I wasn't prolific, if I wasn't speaking with authority and conviction, who the hell would listen to me? Morning shows with V and CJ would be like this. I mean, imagine if you and I were like this. Hello, welcome to the Mornings with V and CJ, where we give you the news, the views, and all the information important to you. You know what I mean? It'd be a snooze fest, man. You know?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But that's the most important thing. I mean, if you're, dude, people that are shy, that are, you know, and get this out of your conversation. You know, people are like, well, I'm poor. Stop saying you're poor, man. Stop saying you're poor. Stop saying, oh, I don't have much of anything. You attract what comes out of you. Whatever comes out of your mouth, that's going to be the reality you form for your life. And that's what you're going to attract to your life. You keep saying you're poor, you're going to stay poor. You keep saying that I'm a winner. I'm a billionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm gonna do it. You know what? I'm gonna build the best body that I could ever do. I'm gonna have the best health. I'm gonna have the best wealth. I'm gonna just do it. It will manifest itself. You'll see what happens, man. The universe, you know, the laws of the universe shift in the metaphysical sense, and it you are able to create it for yourself. I firmly believe it. It has. You know, I've been wildly successful incorporating that in my life, and I've seen it incorporated in the lives of so many people that I know personally that has radically changed them. Change your You want to change your life? Change your conversation that you have with yourself. Change your life. Change your conversation. And with that being said, Siege, let's talk about Operation Shit for Brains.
Yeah, let's jump into it. Never cease to amaze me the level of stupidity. You want to break it down, V?
Man, let's take a look at this. This is you know what I told you about Peter Strzok. Peter Strzok, who's no longer with the FBI. Good riddance. Okay. The FBI sent Peter Strzok on a secret mission to London to meet with Michael Steele for the Dirty Dossier. So, what is the name of the secret mission? I mean, you can tell these are a bunch of drama queen schoolboys who are living out their G.I. Joe fantasies, right? They're living out their James Bond G.I. Joe fantasies. Operation Crossfire Hurricane. The hell is that? The hell is that, you might say? What the hell is Crossfire Hurricane? Who comes up with these names, okay? It began 100 days before the U.S. election. Okay, that's what Crossfire Hurricane is. Okay, and what was it about? The FBI sent counterintelligence agents, one of whom was Peter Strzok, to London in the summer of 2016 to meet with Australian Ambassador Alexander Downer to describe his meeting with Trump campaign advisor George Papadopoulos, and which is pretty funny because George Papadopoulos, if I'm not mistaken, CJ, was also an FBI informant. I love it. So It's either Papadopoulos or the other guy. I just can't forget it. One of those guys was an FBI informant. That was, So anyway, the meeting with Downer was described as highly unusual and helped people provide the foundation for a case that a year ago Thursday became the Special Counsel investigation. The FBI kept details of the operation secret from most of the DOJ, with only about 5 Justice Department officials aware of the full scope of the case. Fearful of leaks, they kept details from the political appointees across the street at the Justice Department. Peter Strzok, a senior FBI agent, explained in a text that Justice Department officials will find it too tasty to resist sharing. I'm not worried about our side, he wrote. Okay. It is this little schoolboy goes on the circle jerk mission called Operation Crossfire Hurricane. He meets with a no-name Australian ambassador, which leads eventually to the Steele dossier. And he gets so giddy like a schoolboy, and he's sending out little text messages, little cootsy-wootsy text messages between him and his circle and his merry band of circle jerkers. Former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn was under investigation along with Paul Manafort and another advisor suspected of Russian agent. The FBI bureaucracy did agents no favors. In July, a retired British spy named Christopher Steele, that's the guy, not Michael Steele, Christopher Steele, approached a friend in the FBI overseas and provided reports linking Trump campaign officials to Russia. Ooh, but the documents meandered around the FBI's organizational chart, former officials said. Strzok texted his mistress, Lisa, the horse-faced Page, with doubts over the case. I cannot believe we're seriously looking at these allegations and the pervasive connections, Mr. Strzok wrote. This is more and more of this crap is coming out. See, would you say this is a legal thing that they did, or is this just a heinously illegal thing that the criminal charges should be brought off and Peter Strzok and Lisa, the horse-faced Page, should be locked up somewhere in some federal prison?
Yeah, I don't know what the delay is. Yeah, definitely in prison, both of them. Absolutely.
Yep. Do you think, CJ, that this is enough of, again, more and more corroborating evidence coming forth that we have an airtight, solid, open and closed case, shut down deal, shut them down, lock them up kind of deal with federal prosecutors, that these guys can literally, Comey, McCabe, Strzok, Page, what is his name? Brennan, right? Clapper, James the Clapper, right? All these guys, and leading all the way back to Clinton. There's, again, what is this, Siege? Enough evidence to have them subpoenaed and brought to trial and thrown in prison, correct?
Absolutely, 1,000%, V.
Why is the Sessions not doing anything? Why is it that you and I are reading this on headlines? Why is this coming out and nothing's happening? Why is that?
Jeff Sessions, he needs to go, V. There's no doubt about it.
It's ridiculous. He's probably the most useless attorney general I've ever seen. He's next to useless. He literally is. This guy, this guy does not cross the Rubicon of going after government insiders. That is the Rubicon that nobody crosses. And Jeff is doing the same thing. He'll go after a couple of pedophile networks here and there. He'll do that. He won't go after the vanguard of the deep state. He just won't do it. He protects the deep state. He colludes the deep state. So my question to you, Mr. Sessions, is what are you hiding? What dirt do they have on you? That's an interesting question to ask, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Very valid. Absolutely.
And that's the whole entire thing, folks. This is the thing that POs me about Q. Okay. All right. Thank you for all the cryptic stuff. Yes, we know about all the evidence. All the evidence. Right? Siege, what month is this, man?
We're almost to June already. May 17th today.
Any arrests?
No, not to my knowledge. No, Hillary, Obama. I mean, all these people that committed all these crimes against the administration are still free. V.
That's what I'm saying. So, what's stopping all this from moving forward? What is the one department in the government that initiates all this stuff?
The DOJ.
Bingo. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And here's the deal. if this stuff doesn't get cleared up as we get closer and closer to the midterm elections, and if the Democrats somehow energize their base, which I think this whole entire blue wave thing is starting to lose momentum. But let's just say the Democrats, they get their base back, and they were able to put together a quote unquote resistance. They're able to, win back some seats here. This is not going to bode well for the Trump presidency. Here's the deal. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. We have an opportunity, thanks to Donald Trump, to create money, to make some money now, because he's rolled back a ton of regulations. He's, killed taxes a great deal, especially for business owners. We have an opportunity to make some serious money. Use the time that we have to make as much money as possible. Okay. Now, Trump does have a meeting with Xi Jinping that's coming up. Okay. I think there's more of a chance of the U.S. in somewhat shape or form to be involved in the Silk Road. That chance still is there. I believe that chance is still there because anything can happen. We are living in the world of event-driven scenarios. And in the world of event-driven scenarios, there has a propensity for things to rapidly change, for things to quickly change on a dime. It's not beyond the stretch of imagination, but it is within the scope of reality. That chance, we might go, see, there's a chance we will be in the Silk Road, but we will get there crawling. We will get there beaten. We will get there bruised, because that's how much internal strife and infighting is happening right now within the halls of government. There is so much infighting. There's so much backstabbing. There's so much cloak and dagger that is occurring right now that by the time, we're winning here, then we're losing over there. One step forward, two steps back. This is the process that seems to be working its way out. It's working its way out. This is the process. Okay. And if this is the process, then you know what? There's a chance that we can be in the Silk Road. If we can get into the Silk Road, my friend, we have secured America's, okay, America's future. We have secured America's future. But if we don't get into the Silk Road, then we are having a very isolated future. A very isolated future. We'll be the only major power not involved. And that's something that's completely unacceptable to us. So we don't know what the outcome is once Trump leaves. We don't know. So while he's there, and I truly believe in my heart that he's going to get reelected. I firmly believe that. I think he's going to win. He's going to win big. Because even if the Democrats win the House and the Senate back, they still don't have a strong enough candidate to throw against Trump. They really don't. But that being said, okay. And the people say, well, if they win the House and the Senate, that means they're going to have a strong candidate to get rid of Trump. No, what's going to happen is that the Trump constituents, they're going to re-energize Trump's base. So Trump's base will show up again. And this time, the Democrats don't have the millions of illegals that were there the last time. So he will get reelected. But the question becomes to you folks is what's going to happen when he leaves? That's kind of scary, Siege. Have you ever thought about that?
No, I haven't thought that far out yet as far as the 8-year period.
I think about that and I shudder. That's why it's so important that whatever needs to get done in terms of arrests, in terms of prosecutions, in terms of the bad guys dropping dead, I firmly believe that has to happen. That has to happen. And I firmly believe that has to happen very quickly, very rapidly. Otherwise, what's it going to be like? What's it going to be like? Because if we don't finish the job, right, what's going to happen is it's like cleaning the spider webs from the attic, but you leave the spiders alone. And that's problematic.
Right.
We know about spiders.
Yeah. Whatever,
where they'll be back.
I think that in part, that the GOP, as far as the midterm, they're definitely spooked. And I think it had a part to play in, the embassy move, because, as this was happening, is it Sheldon Adelson? Is that his name? He had offered to pay for the embassy move, and then leading up to the timing of it, they're definitely rattled as far as a potential of a blue wave that he just recently put $30 million into the coffers of the GOP strategically for the 2018 midterms. And I believe that was like 4 or 5 times what he normally does. So it's one of those ugly things that I hate in politics is the money behind it, because we know what happens with that. So in part, they're rattled enough that they have to spend the money. They're going to have to overspend in this situation. So they're a little rattled about it. They're definitely concerned about that. The only thing that that Trump needs to consider right now, as far as the geopolitical landscape, is that price of oil still continues to worry me, because I was reading an article the other day where obviously the 1%, they don't give a rat's ass what the price of gasoline at the pump is, right? They don't worry about that. I believe Brent crude was it was hovering around the $80 benchmark, and that was up from like $60 less than 2 months ago. So that's one thing that in terms of the Middle East, and that's why I'm so concerned about the actions with Iran, with Israel, that if there's any type of military escalation, that we see oil spike to $100 a barrel, that hits the heartland of America. That hits the middle working class, where we've been down that path before, where gas prices were $4.50 a gallon, where forget about that tax decrease you're paying it out the wazoo now at the pump, and that affects everything else inflation wise. I was at the grocery store the other day, and I noticed like some of the staple items that I traditionally had bought were up like 20 or 25 cents per item. I'm like, what the hell's that all about? What's driving that? So that's one thing that Trump has to be very careful of, because if that happens and oil does get to that benchmark around that $100 mark, you're going to see some economic impact here in the U.S. and people vote their wallet. They most definitely do. I don't think most people look at like geopolitical thing. I think if you ask the average American about the peninsula and you said, oh, there's a north and south, they'd be like, oh, there is? I didn't know that. I don't think they care about the geopolitical landscape a whole lot. I think they care more about the economic data, what's in their bank accounts, how much they're paying at the grocery stores. That's what the middle America is about. That's the base. So he's going to have to really focus heavily, on that, and be real careful as far as the actions that we could trigger that, because we darn well know that the Saudis would be more than happy with $100 a barrel to help prop up their potential, IPO of what's their petroleum? Is it Aramco? Not Aramco. Gosh,
the Saudis.
The Saudis, yeah. What's their
Aramco.
IPO? Aramco that they were going to do. That's the ultimate goal. So again, I think that's probably that one variable that we just have to be very mindful of and continue to monitor.
People don't realize, man. I've said this years ago. I actually wrote an article on it years ago as well. It's called, oil, folks, is the most financialized or securitized commodity on planet Earth. Okay. If people just say, oh, it's $80, it's up because, you got speculators. Okay, you're right. They're speculators, but that is just a simplistic explanation on what's going on with the $80 oil. Okay. There's more to it. There's a whole entire backdrop to the $80 oil. My question is this. Okay, got it. Speculators are up. They're up to $80 a barrel. They're, back ending, with a lot of fear about the Iran and this, that, and the other. The U.S. is one of the biggest producers of oil in the world. Surprise, surprise. We make so much oil, we're actually exporting oil to Qatar. We're selling our oil that we make here to Qatar. Why is oil at $80? But why are we still hedged to the Brent? Why is this happening, right? Well, I'll tell you why. Oil's up over 80. What are the security? So if oil is a security, if it's a securitized commodity, what other security right now is up? Bonds. Folks, there is a serious link here in the back end. And I don't have all the pieces of the puzzle together as of yet. I really don't. Okay. But my gut instinct is telling me, look, we've said it for years. I've said this for years. Many people have said it for years. There's a bubble in the bond market, and has been, and most people walk around on it like it's on eggshells. Okay, and I've also said that there is so much fraud in the bond market as well. We know where they have been bolt holing a lot of the stuff. I mean, Dr. Jim always speaks about it as well. Jim always says, hey, he came up with a beautiful terminology, the BLICs, right? Brussels, Liechtenstein, Ireland, Cayman, and Switzerland, right? The BRICS countries is where they're bolt holing all this excessive U.S. treasuries that nobody's buying, that they're dumping. Is being picked up by the ESF, the Emergency Stabilization Fund, and it's and what they're doing is they're bolt holing it. Right? Yeah, I know what the ESF is. I know it's not an emergency. I just like calling it emergency. So it's picked up by the ESF and it's bolt holed all over, specifically in Euroclear. Now, why Euroclear of all places? Why Euroclear? Why is Euroclear's UST bond bill, some are estimating, is over $4 trillion? Kind of matches and or surpasses the Fed at this point, right, in terms of the balance sheet.
Right.
Why is it in Euroclear? Most people don't know nothing about Euroclear. They've heard it once in passing only. I've mentioned some details about it in the past. I will mention some details again right now. Euroclear was set up in 1968 by J.P. Morgan. Okay, by J.P. Morgan. By J.P. Morgan Bank. It's happening it happened in 1968. And what has occurred is they created Euroclear to begin the floating process of creating the Euro bonds, which eventually becomes the backbone of the financial structure for the European Union. So the European Union plan was long in the making. The Euroclear is one of those realities and facts and proof because of it. Okay, so you have Euroclear that was created, and Euroclear is in 98 countries. 98 countries. Their predominant function is to clear treasuries, clear bonds and bond holding and offsets and collateral and all these other things that they also do. That's a primary function of Euroclear. There are 98 countries. Now you can keep most of the dollars that have been shifted off, okay, that have been sold off, pump it in Euroclear. You can store it anywhere else in the world. So you see, it's a massive, massive location that they can move all this stuff around. Okay, all done on computer screens. All done on computer screens in various jurisdictions. And they're doing this, okay, to keep the dollar propped up. Now we know because of the Petro Yuan, we know because of the New Silk Road, the One Belt One Road initiative, we know because of all the things that are happening with China, with Russia, the energy realignment away from the dollar, the de-dollarization that has kicked into high gear since 2015. We know for a fact that there's less dollars today chasing petroleum than there ever was before. That is a fact. That is a fact. So what do you do to make up for a lack thereof? What do you do when there is absolute a dangerous increase in yield in the bond market, which you cannot have, okay? And there's dumping of treasury bonds, which is happening as we speak, and no one's buying it. And what do you do? Well, you pump up $80. You see, this move of oil, and I've said this before, I don't know if I said it on this broadcast or not, I said that you're going to see an $80 to even $100 barrel of oil before summer's out. Now, what are they doing this? This is, again, I believe in my gut. I don't have all the details as yet, but I will soon. Okay, so bear with me. I believe this $80 to $100 move in the barrel of oil, okay, we could possibly see close to $100 a barrel, okay? Probably 90 seems to be a sweet spot over here. It could go up to 90, it could go get close to 100. We'll see, okay? This is a pressure release valve. This is a pressure release valve that's somehow connected to the repurchasing order market, the repo market. It's also somehow back-ended with the dollar and bonds. I don't have all the details yet, but my gut gorilla instincts is telling me this, CJ. It's telling me this, and my gut's never wrong, bro. My gut's never wrong. It's never wrong because I eat lots of bananas. Okay? Bananas. But anyway, on a more serious note, this is what I'm thinking. That's why we're seeing this temporary pop, right? $80 is, I hate that. I hate high oil prices. Okay, and I believe it's going to go to 80, 90, get close to 100 before it pops back down to where it should be, which is below $50 a barrel, because there's still a ridiculous amount of oil in the market. Nobody stopped pumping. Nobody got the memo and said, hey, you know what? Maybe we should stop pumping. Nobody's got that memo. Nobody's got it whatsoever. So that's the deal. That's what's going on with the oil markets, man. And it sucks because I'm in the market for a V8 twin turbocharged German super saloon. And
yeah,
damn it, man. I'm just like shopping in BMW M5s now, and that's a V8 powered twin turbo missile, and I don't like high oil prices. Okay.
Right. Absolutely.
Anyway, man. What do we got? Let's tackle this US hegemony, man. It's a good article from our boys over at Consortium News. It's by Paul Street. And it basically talking about the insanity of the US. I think this is really, it's a great article. Folks want to go back and read it, take a look at it. I think people should. Okay. I think people should go take a look at it. It's a great article. It really defines what Pepe Escobar has been saying for the longest time. We are the empire of chaos. We're like a schizophrenic lunatic high on like psychotropics and alcohol. And what we do is we don't build anything. We go about wrecking everything, like what the Saker did. If you haven't got a chance to go listen to the Saker yesterday, go ahead and listen to that interview with the Saker. It was amazing. I was out of power. And, that's why I sounded like Mr. Roboto on the planet Mars. I just didn't sound right. The world will not mourn the decline of the U.S. hegemony. If you're a patriotic American, you want the deep state and this U.S. hegemony to die a swift death. Because we are a republic, not an empire. We are a republic, not an empire. There is no point in having a hegemony. We need to be more inwardly focused on the issues that are at hand facing average everyday Americans on a daily basis. Not having bases in 139 countries, you have over 900 some odd military bases strewn about all over the place. That's not smart. It's also very expensive. Very, very expensive. Folks, the faster the deep state dies, the better off we all are. Okay, you want to kill the deep state? The deep state has one soft underbelly. That is the dollar. This is why something has to be done on a monetary level. And this is what makes the whole entire situation very precarious, because the dollar is the most toxic, cancerous asset in the world. Okay, it's a cancerous asset. It's a tumor that has grown. And it has grown and it has developed blood vessels. It has, created its own gluconeogenesis, its own blood supply with the host organism. So then now to excise the tumor without killing the organism becomes very, very precarious. Very precarious. But something needs to be done. There has to be something done. And folks, this is why most people, we need to get into cryptos like you've never been before. We need to get into alternative asset classes like gold, silver, platinum, palladium. We need to get into anything besides the stinking dollar. We need to stop utilizing institutions like banks. We need to stop going to banks. We need to stop dealing with the government, period. Period. You can't talk about you love freedom, you love decentralization, but you do nothing for it, for yourself. I mean, that's just insanity. You cannot talk about decentralization and not do anything for yourself. That is just insanity. So this is why all these things are important, folks. And this is why it's very important for us to break away from the habits that we've cultivated throughout the last several decades and do something revolutionary. We have enough business, enough ideas, enough talent, more than they do. We have the talent pool is with us. These people are not smart. Believe me, these people in government, not smart at all, folks. Not smart at all. And we need to utilize that to our advantage by creating the mechanisms that we need to break ourselves away, man. And that's what I'm saying, Siege. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I mean, I think that, the administration, Trump was our best chance at, at getting that major reform. But like when you point to everything, I mean, it was such a huge feat. So under this administration, debt is soaring. Under this administration, government has grown. I mean, all those things that we wanted the major reform, it's simply not getting done. It's not, and that's just because of how deep the swamp is. The Fed and their monetary policy. I think the Saker is right. As much as it probably scares a lot of people in terms of a military coup to seize the federal government and to turn it back over to the people in terms of a different type of election system, perhaps maybe built on the blockchain with 100% transparency, monitoring, ensuring how the votes are, one person votes. I think that's going to have to be done. I don't see any. It's hard to imagine some type of political resolution to help our country unless it specifically happens with a dollar demise where they simply cannot continue to print money to prop up to support all the criminality, the endless wars, the massive military spending. I mean, the system is just so broke. And people talk a lot around fascism, and they worry about, well, wait a minute, they say, oh, that's what the conservatives are going to do. That's already been established. I mean, when you take a look at the amount of influence that corporations have over our government right now, the lining the politicians' wallets with the money. I mean, there's no reason, there's no wonder why we have people that go to Washington D.C. and spend 30, 40 years there, like the John McCain's, those people. I mean, who would leave it, V, right? I mean, you're getting your pockets lined with money. You're working 30 days out of the year. I mean, the system is just so broke. So yeah, again, I think you're right. I think you nailed it as far as disruptive systems. Stop participating in their systems that yield the power to them. The banks do that. And the sooner that we can influence, because our listeners get it. I think the people that listen to us, people that listen to a lot of the great other alt news, new media stations on YouTube, for example, they get it. But I think for the most part, the masses, I don't think are awake. I think they are still drinking from the Kool-Aid. And unfortunately, for the most part, until something directly impacts them, is that they don't get involved. They really don't care. But if you throw on a YouTube video regarding something silly, a girl puts on a Chewbacca mask or something, people will share it and get involved with that. So again, I refuse not to remain optimistic. I think that if we continue to spread the word, we influence people to understand how the system is so corrupt, and we stop accepting government, big government, as part of our daily lives, the sooner the humanity can move forward. But until that point, then we have to continue to look for little ways to be disruptive. And I fully agree that the blockchain, that the cryptocurrencies can provide that. I mean, time after time again, it's providing solutions. It's changing things up. And the rest of the population, the people that listen to us, the things that we're doing, it's going to help. So the other people are eventually going to have to wait till the hurting begins, and then they're going to have to catch up with where our listeners are already currently with the knowledge base that we're helping to give them. V.
Absolutely right, man. Absolutely right. With that being said, Siege, I think that covers the litany of everything, dude. We're over and out. What we got today?
Today's Thursday. I'm losing days of a week here. So we should have Hanging with Harley coming up at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we cannot forget 4 p.m. is Cuss with Gus. So I think it's been has it been a minute since we've had Gus on? I'm excited for his show today, and I'm excited for Harley too.
Yep, me too, man. Looking forward to it. With that being said, folks, we're over and out. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. Later. Take it away, CJ.